every result we have achieved in our life is a result of our past thinking, and that we can believe new thoughts on purpose. So in this video, what I want to do is really talk to everyone about how we can shift our unhelpful thoughts on purpose. Because if we have elements of our life that aren't the way we want them, that are holding us back from achieving our goals and our dreams, and are stopping us from living the best version of our life, becoming the best version of ourselves, then we need to let that thinking go and create new, more helpful thoughts. I really want to put in here key messages, the key strategies of how to shift those unhelpful thoughts, because we all have them. That's the truth. We all have thoughts in our lives, in our brains, that aren't helping us. Maybe you've had some of these. I'll never be able to. I can never do that. Or it's too hard. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve to. Maybe if it's even really specific things, like I can't do the exercise I wanted today because it's too hot, I'm too tired, I don't have time. Something like that. Maybe we've been used to blaming the situation we find ourselves in, the people we surround ourselves with, our friends, our loved ones, our family members, our colleagues, or the circumstances we find ourselves. I couldn't eat healthily because I was at a party, I was on holidays. None of those things are true, they're just thoughts. And honestly, they're thoughts that aren't helping. So if we do want to change them, there are 5 steps that I want to go through today to really help you. And the first one is noticing. You actually have to notice the thoughts that you have in your mind. And we as humans have an amazing capability to actually step back and observe our thoughts going past in our brain. Remember, every thought is just a sentence in your mind. And we can actually step back and go, well, what am I thinking right now? What are you thinking right now? Is it about the comments I'm making? Is it Brian's rabbiting on about something again? Is it what you're doing on the weekend or later today? Or the troubles or challenges you're having in your life? Just notice that you can actually observe the sentences as they flow through your brain. Now, interestingly, research shows that our brains make somewhere between 35,000 and 55,000 thoughts a day, many of which we give no credence to and allow to have no power over us whatsoever. They're just fleeting. But sometimes we choose to think thoughts again and again. And sometimes we've practiced them so often that they just get stored away in the back of our brain and they become a belief. We just think that they're true about us or about the world. I want to offer for you today that they're not true. It's just a thought you've practiced a lot. It can be helpful in these processes to take notice of whenever you're not feeling good, like you've got an emotion that you're not happy about, or you've taken an action that's produced a result that you didn't want to do in the world, or you've avoided taking an action that you did want to do. Actually stop and pay attention and perhaps write down, what is the thought that I was having? I'm just going to notice it. And the beautiful thing is, once we can do that, once we can get it back out of our unconscious brain, back into our conscious brain, by asking, what am I thinking, and observing it, then we're empowered to change, right? Most humans spend most of our lives running around on automatic pilot. We don't actually have to think consciously. And look, at many areas of our life, that's a beautiful thing. We don't have to think about how to walk, or how to feed ourselves, or how to drive a car, or how to speak, because we've run those patterns so often. We don't have to remember our name or our date of birth because we have those trained in. But sometimes we train in thoughts that aren't helping. Like, I've got to eat everything on my plate. Exercise is too hard. It's uncomfortable. I don't like it. Or, I can't achieve my goals. I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. I could never earn that much. Watch out for those thoughts, because so often we've brought them up into our lives from our upbringing and from our experience of our lives in the past, and we've kept them. They've been useful in some way, but they will be holding you back from the results you want to achieve. So if you want to shift them, the first thing you do is have to notice and decide. And then the second thing is to challenge them. So once you notice that unhelpful thought, it's important to challenge it, which means ask, is it true? Is it absolutely true? When isn't it true? This is such a powerful thought process to go through, because so often with our thoughts, we have them, but we don't actually challenge them. We just accept them like they are true. You ever done like that? You know, oh, I just can't stop. I'm no good at. It's almost like we make it part of our identity. Some of you said to me this week things like, I have no willpower. I always sabotage. Someone said, I have no control. What I find fascinating about that is because when you're doing the thing that you think you have no control over, who's operating your muscles? Who's operating your nerves? Who's actually doing the thing that you say you have no control over? It's you. You're just exercising your control in a particular way. Isn't that fun to know? In fact, we always have control. We can always decide what to think on purpose, how to, what we want to feel, because thoughts create feelings, and how we want to act in the world. Always get to decide. If we decide to live consciously instead of unconsciously, if we notice those thoughts and then challenge them when they're not helping them. So challenge, is it true? Is it absolutely true? When isn't it true? And in most of the times, we find those times. We find that it isn't really true. We're just choosing to believe it, which is great because it means we can choose otherwise. Which brings me to the third point is, do I want to keep it? You get to choose. You don't have to keep thinking the same things and doing the same things over and over again if you don't want to. You can choose a new future. You can choose a new thought if you wish. Before we move on, I want to just also let you know that if in your thinking you've come up with a thought, try and have a look for what is the belief that underlies that thought. So many of us have these rhetorical questions that we ask ourselves. Why did I do that? Who cares? Why bother? I really encourage you, in the challenging part of that, noticing that thought, actually answer the rhetorical question. Well, who does care? Why should I bother to make this healthy choice, or to stretch towards my goals, or to get uncomfortable, or to do the thing and follow up in the way I said I was going to? Actually have to answer those questions. Or look for the underlying thought, the implication. You know, if you're thinking, why bother? I can't do it. It's all too hard. Look for the underlying thought. I'm not worth looking after. I'm not worthy. I don't deserve self-care. I don't deserve my success. And challenge that, because it's just not true. You absolutely deserve to be living your best life, to being the best version of you, always. You have that capacity within you. Once you notice your thought and you challenge it, you get to decide to keep it or not. You get to choose. So actively opt in to keeping the thought or changing it. And if you do want to change it, then part 4 is to make a new thought on purpose. And I really encourage you to actually write it down. Why do I want to achieve it? What would I like to be thinking here instead? What am I going to choose to believe on purpose? Try and write it down in a way that gets all of your emotions coming up, that you can really feel. Think about emotive words. So something that really affects you. So instead of just, I can live longer, I can be healthy, I can thrive in my life. I can excel. Look for that just pushes a little bit further, really gets that emotional connection. That will help rewire into your brain. And step 5 is you actually have to practice the new thought on purpose. So I encourage you to make that commitment that every time you notice the unhelpful thought come back up, challenge it immediately and then say out loud or think to yourself on purpose the new thought. It can often be helpful to actually write down the thoughts that you want to be thinking about you, about your ability to succeed, about your health and well-being, about your goals and desires and dreams. Actually write them down. Make a list. Maybe even make a list of things that you want to say to yourself in difficult situations, or when you are having doubt or insecurity, or you're falling back to old habits and believing old thoughts. Write them out so that you can pick them up on that piece of paper in those moments, or have them as notes on your phone if you need to carry it around. But have them there so that you can just read them out straight away. The thoughts you want to be thinking about you, your ability to succeed, and your life. It's a powerful tool. You really can change your life by changing your thoughts. And I'd love to know, what thoughts are you wanting to practice? Are you wanting to bring in and believe in your life? Write them down in the comments below. Putting them out there in the world is one of those very first steps to making it real. So I invite you to do that. Let us know what you want to be thinking. Of course, if you have any questions or any feedback about these videos, please let me know. Post a comment down below or send me a message. I'm always happy to hear what's working for you, what's not. Is there something you're confused about or need some help with? Do I need to be more clear or to go over something else in detail? I want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes from Byron Katie, who says, "The world is what you believe it to be, and it changes as you change." Change your thoughts, and you'll change the way you feel. You'll change the actions you take in the world. You'll change the life you're living. If you want more help transitioning into the life that you want to be living, rather than the life that you have, then remember, you can always sign up for a free exploratory coaching session with me on my website. Go to livemorelife.com.au and click on Free Exploratory Session. Fill in the form and I'll be in touch to help you out. Talk to you soon.